In this video, we're going to look at whether America is a republic or a democracy. And this is a claim that you might hear. If you follow American politics, you might have heard this claim that America is a republic and not a democracy. And there are a lot of problems with that statement. For starters, those two are not opposites. Here's a helpful chart from Professor Paul Musgrave. We can see that Democratic and Republican are actually overlapping terms. For example, you could have a republic that is democratic, or you could have a republic that is not democratic. All republic means is not a monarchy. Instead of having a hereditary ruler like a king or queen, it has some kind of president, either elected or unelected. Democracy, the democratic part of that, refers to the characteristics of the regime and the public participation. Typically, it's a representative system, whereby people elect representatives that can work on their behalf. Again, the public participation part refers to voting. People in some way are empowered to vote for their elected leaders. And this includes party competition. Political parties are free to organize and compete for power. So when we talk about that, democracy versus a republic, well, it's kind of a false dichotomy, because a republic can be democratic or not. When you hear about this claim in American politics, however, there's really a more nuanced meaning to it. People are trying to make a point about the American regime. And when you hear people claim that America is a republic, not a democracy, what they're actually trying to say is that America isn't a democracy, and it shouldn't be. That's a claim they are trying to make. They're trying to say that things like franchise restrictions, limiting the right to vote, is okay. They're trying to say that the counter-majoritarian institutions that have been established by the Constitution are good. And those include things like the Senate and the Electoral College. For them, minority rule is preferable to majority rule. And that's really the essence of the claim, is that democracy equals majority rule, and that's not a thing that they like, and that's not a thing that they believe the American government should be organized around. Now, on the flip side of that, some folks will argue that America is supposed to be a democracy, but it isn't. When you read the American Constitution, you'll notice that it provides for a lot of public participation. There are about 25 references to voting, elections, and majorities. It is establishing a type of majoritarian representative democracy. But as part of the constitutional compromise, it established and entrenched several undemocratic institutions, and ones that it didn't establish, it allowed for. For example, the Senate is a counter-majoritarian institution. The Electoral College, which includes Senate representation in its formula, is also a counter-majoritarian institution. And then things like franchise restrictions, restricting the right to vote, are also permitted. And so there is a normative critique that America should be a democracy, but it isn't because of these institutions. So, which is it? America is a republic or a democracy? Well, it's both. It is a republic and a democracy. However, there's a normative element to these critiques. When you read the Constitution, it should be. However, when you hear the claim that it's a republic, not a democracy, it's people arguing that it shouldn't be. The challenge is, that's what they're resisting to. They are resisting to the idea of majority rule, and that's why this distinction is invoked, the idea of a republic instead of a democracy.